Good morning, my name is Carlo Maletta and my presentation deals with thermomechanical coupling effects on practical fields in pseudoelastic shear-memory alloys. Just a few words about shear-memory alloys, and among the various types of shear-memory alloys, maybe the nickel-titanium-based one are the most important because they exhibit very interesting features coupled with very good mechanical performance. Their properties are due to a thermoelastic multicyclic transformation, a reversible thermoelastic multicyclic transformation, but information about that have been given by my colleague Emanuele. And the functional properties are mainly pseudoelastic effect, which is the ability of the material to recover very large deformation, and the shear-memory effect, which is the ability of the material to recover large pseudoplastic deformation by heating the material above a certain specific characteristic temperature, transformation temperature. So, few information about thermoelastic multicyclic transformation. It is a solid-state, reversible solid-state phase transformation between austenite and martensite. The austenite is a body-centered cubic structure which is stable at high temperature and low stress. It is the parent phase. The product phase is the martensite, which is a body-centered tetragonal structure which is stable at low temperature and high stress. It means that if you change the temperature, either the temperature or the stress, you can obtain the two crystallographic state of the material. And in the first case, we talk about TIM, thermal induced multicyclic transformation. In the second case, we talk about stress induced multicyclic transformation. So both thermally and stress induced multicyclic transformation occurs through hysteretic behavior. So there is a marked thermal hysteresis when we analyze the thermal induced multicyclic transformation, and four characteristic transformation temperature identified. Similarly, when we analyze the stress induced multicyclic transformation, there is a marked hysteresis in the stress strain diagram, and also in this case there are four characteristic transformation temperature. So these are basically the two functional properties of the material, the shear-memory effect, which is maybe linked to the thermal induced multicyclic transformation, and the pseudoelastic effect, which is basically due to the stress-induced multicyclic transformation between austenite and martensite and its reversion. And our work is based on pseudoelastic alloy because maybe, they are basically the most important alloys, for example, in the biomedical fields. So the main problem is related to the complex constitutive module, and in particular there is a marked thermomechanical coupling. It means that this figure shows the evolution of the stress-strain response of the material as a function of the temperature. So if you are at low temperature, the material exhibits a pseudoplastic effect, which is linked to the shear-memory effect. But if you increase the temperature, the same material could exhibit a completely different mechanical response, the pseudoelastic effect. So due to this complex behavior, many aspects related to particle fracture of this kind of materials are still unknown. And this is one of the main limitations of this class of material in practical application, because the long-term durability and reliability under fatigue loads is still an open issue. So it means that standard theories, solid mechanics theories, cannot be applied for this kind of materials. And in addition, when we deal with the fracture, the high values of local stresses arising near the crack tip, for example, cause stress-induced multicyclic transformation. And these local stress-induced transformation are significantly affected by the temperature. So there is a marked coupling between stress, strain, and temperature. So it means that special approach and method should be used, which are completely different with respect to standard theories for elastic and elastic plastic methods. So this is a quick overview of what happens in the crack tip region of pseudoelastic nickel-titanium alloys, and in particular near the crack tip, the high values of local stress and strain cause
stress-induced martensitic transformation from austenite to martensite. So we have, at the very crack tip, we have a fully transformed martensitic structure. Then we have a transformation region, and far from the crack tip, we have the parent austenitic, untransformed austenitic phase. So it is widely accepted by the scientific community that this transformation mechanism play a very important role on fracture properties and fatigue properties of shapeable alloys. So, to better understand what is the effects of this transformation mechanism on fracture properties of shapeable alloys, we did in last years several research activities, including both numerical simulations, experiments, but we have also developed an analytical model which is based on modified linear elastic and elastic plastic fracture mechanics concept. But okay, this model is able to by using this model, you can get both the extent of the transformation region in terms of the fully transformed transformation zone and outer transformation region. But the analytical model is also able to define possible fracture control parameters, namely austenitic stress intensity factor and martensitic stress intensity factor. These two parameters are able to describe the stress distribution within the martensitic zone and within the austenitic zone. So, okay, some question arises. And the first question is, what is the role of this stress and thermally induced transformation structural damage? And in particular, what is the role of this localized transformation, for example, that occurring in the crack tip region on the structural damage? So we try to answer this question by using local approach, similarly to the presentation of my colleague Emanuele. But now local approaches have been applied to single edge crack specimen made of pseudoelastic chain alloys, as you can see here. And here in the presentation I will talk about two approaches, two methods. The first one is the non-indentation and the second one is the DIC. In particular, we try to use non-indentation to capture phase transition phenomena in the crack tip region. This is a picture of the crack tip. As you can see, this is the notch, this is the fatigue crack, and these are the metrics of non-indentation points around the crack tip. So, in addition, we try to get information about transformation region by using the DIC, the digital image correlation. So, the basic idea of non-indentation is based on the observation that the two crystallographic structures, austenite and martensite, show a completely different non-indentation response. This figure shows a comparison between austenite and martensite, and in particular the austenite show a very large recovery upon unloading, thanks to the pseudoelastic effect, while the martensite show a very large residual depth upon unloading, which is due to the pseudoplastic effect of the material. So based on this consideration, we identified some, let me say, damage or transformation parameters which are based on, okay, in a few words, information taken from this response. And by using these parameters, we were able to capture the transformation zone in the crack tip region. This figure shows the map of transformation region at two different values of the temperature, 25 and 65 degrees, obtained from non-indentation by an non-indentation matrix, and the black curve represents the prediction of our analytical model. So what we can observe from this figure, from this slide, that there is a marked effect of the temperature. So the so-called thermomechanical coupling. It means that if you increase the temperature, you have a marked decrease of the transformation zone because of the increase in the transformation plateau, the stress-strain response of the material. So we try to get similar results by using DIC. These figures were obtained from digital image correlation measurements. They are the equivalent of Mises strain at the crack tip in a windows roughly 4 millimeters per 3 millimeters under mode 1 loading on single edge crack specimens. And as you can see here, there is a comparison between two different values of the temperature. And okay, the shape of the straight contours have a butterfly-like shape, which is very similar to elastoplastic material. But also in this case, we observe a marked effect of the temperature. As you can see, when you decrease the temperature, the transformation zone increases significantly. So, but now we know that the material transforms near the crack tip, and it is well known and well accepted by the scientific community, but we are able to measure it, but we have additional questions. And the question is, how these transformations affect the fracture properties of the material? I mean, okay, both propagation, the crack propagation, stable and unstable. And the other question is, can standard fracture mechanics theories be used to predict fast fracture and orthotic crack propagation? And how the temperature affect the fracture properties of general alloy? So to give an answer to this question, we have to define possible spatial ad hoc fracture control parameters. So with this idea, we try to get an ad hoc fracture control parameter based, okay, the well-known stress intensity factor, but we obtain the stress intensity factor from the AC experiments by fitting the displacement field obtained by the AC and, okay, I almost, yeah, okay, so I will try to be as quick as I can. So by using the equivalent expansion series, and this is called the effective stress intensity factor. It is the real stress intensity factor of the crack tip, because it is measured based on the measured displacement field. So these figures show comparison between the effective stress intensity factor, the black dots, and for example the linear elastic fracture mechanics prediction for the two values of the temperature. And it is clearly shown that there is a very large difference between the effective stress intensity factor and the prediction of linear elastic fracture mechanics. And these differences are higher at the lowest value of the temperature because of the nonlinear effect are increased with decreasing the temperature. But what is very interesting that the real effective stress intensity factor are very close to the prediction of our analytical model, the blue cubes, in terms of austenitic stress intensity factor. Finally, okay, this is another side of the medal. This is the critical value of the view, show the critical values of the stress intensity factor. The red data are obtained by using the linear elastic fracture mechanics. And as you can see, between 20 degrees and 60 degrees, there is a marked increase of the critical value of the stress intensity factor. But it is not true. Because linear elastic fracture mechanics does not take into account the effect of the temperature. And in fact, if you look at the data obtained from the AC, you will get an almost constant value with the temperature. And this is very similar to the results we got from our analytical model. So finally, and it is a very important issue, because maybe all papers, published papers on chemical alloys are based on linear elastic fracture mechanics concept. And it does not work in this case. So finally, okay, this is the conclusion, but maybe we do not have so much time for.
Thank you so much.